Good evening. This is the Lawrence, first of all, this is our Tuesday, October the 19th, and this is the public meeting of the Lawrence City Council. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, this public meeting of the Lawrence City Council is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Members of the public attending this meeting in person or virtually will be allowed to make comments if they wish to do so during the portion of the hearings designated for public comment in person or by the use of the web and phone access with the Facebook Lawrence City Council page and the YouTube Lawrence City Council page, and of course, right here on Zoom. With that, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Vice President Estela Reyes, absent. Councilor Rodriguez.
Present.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Present.
Councilor Payano.
Present.
Councilor Abdu.
Present.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Present.
Councilor Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilor Anna Levy, absent. President LaPlante.
Present. Councilors, I've received a communication from the Vice President. Clerk, will you please call Councilor Levy?
Councilor Levy.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, you have been in contact with the Vice President. She has informed me that, of course, she wasn't able to be here at the last minute meeting or this one, and for an excused absence, so she just wanted to make sure that we are aware that this was something that's been planned, that she's unable to make it for tonight's meeting. With that, I will ask you all to rise and join me in a moment of silence. Now please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, councilors. At this point, I'm looking for a motion to approve the council minutes from October 5th. Is there a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Made by Councilor Abdu, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion, Councilor Levy.
Yes, I want to let you know that on the last page for document 80B, I voted present.
Okay.
So also, the same document is being said at the end, document 161-21, that is regarding the disposition of declaration for 70 Genesee Street. So it's a correction that has to be made in there also.
If there's no objections to those amendments to the minutes, we will include those in the corrected version if there's no objections to that. Are there any other elements or any other discussion points on the minutes? Mr. Abdu.
Yes, I'd like to note, in speaking with a constituent earlier this evening, that Mr. Mali, his correct address is Chester. Not sure of the number, but the correct street address is Chester, and the minutes for public participation. That would be the first section.
Very good. We will include 53 Chester Street as part of that address. Thank you for that, Mr. Abdu. Anything else on minutes? Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Abdu.
Yes.
Councilor Payano. Councilor De La Cruz. Counselor Rodriguez? Yes. Counselor Vice President Estela Reyes is absent. President LaPlante?
Yes. I see Mr. Payano's hand up. Does this have to do with the roll call?
Yes, sir. Just wanted to make sure that I said yes.
You are recorded as yes. Clerk, the
Thank you.
vote is complete. The motion is adopted. Public hearings. The next document is document number 160. My bad. At this point, public participation. You have 2.5 minutes. Of course, after the first 2 minutes, the buzzer goes off. Please address the entire city council and not in the specific individual. The first person up is Mr. Mali.
Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. In this important election year, we demand of you, please support Lawrence Police Officers Union contract for Lawrence Police now. Lawrence Police Department, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Chief Roy Vass, has done excellent job to protect our citizens. We demand of you support Lawrence Police Union contract for Lawrence Police now. Lawrence High School crisis, we the citizens are united in support of Honorable Mayor Henrik Vasquez, Honorable Chief Roy Vass, Honorable Superintendent Cynthia Paris, to bring peace and calm and a united city and a strong city for our public school. What a great city, what a great mayor, what a great chief of police, what a great superintendent. Lawrence is one city under God of our public school. We are united to overcome this adversity, to help our children to have a safe hearing in learning environment. We will rise up against this adversity. We are united behind Honorable Mayor Henrik Vasquez, Honorable Roy Vask, and Honorable Superintendent Cynthia Paris to overcome any difficulties to ensure safe education for our children. Lawrence is strong and Lawrence is united. In these dark days of the pandemic, Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey has done nothing to help us. In this important election year, we request of you support our police officers and union, firefighters union, teachers union. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next speaker is Richard Russell.
Good evening, councilors. My name is Rich Russell, 34 Cross Street. I'm going into a subject that I seldom touch upon because, quite frankly, I don't have a dog in the fight. But now that it's going to start costing me money, tax dollars, I will run my mouth. The subject du jour is the Lawrence Public School System. I attended last night's Dog and Pony Show. Since it's an issue about the Lawrence Public School System, I'll grade it. Overall, it earned a C. The school committee obviously did their homework and earned an A-. The city council earned a D-, as it appeared that the dog ate their homework. Imagine only having enough members present for a simple quorum, knowing that a larger number might be needed in case something important came up. Fortunately, the school committee was prepared and found a possible way to get the school out of the receivership situation. Hopefully, their plan will be successful. My thoughts on school violence remain the same. The teachers are educators, not parents. Parents should send their children to school with some degree of schooling, instilling the concept of respect. Respect of others, respect of institution, and lastly, respect for themselves. I could continue, but some parents can't even teach their offspring how to wear clothes properly, so why beat a dead horse? Lastly, when is the city going to send out information to the voters regarding the Prop 2.5 override ballot question? In my wanderings through the city, most people give me a deer-in-the-headlight look when I mention the issue. The main group that is going to get financially raped is the single-family homeowner, as they have no place to hand off the rip-off to.
Mr. Russell, please, you're very close to the line of electioneering on a ballot question, so I just guide you in being careful in how you address the issue that's before the ballot on Election Day. Continue, please.
I asked the question then, I'll rephrase it. When are we, the voters, going to get information about that ballot question? With that, I rest my case. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. The next speaker is Kelly Staniszewski.
Hi, I'm before you tonight. I was at the meeting as well last night.
Could I have your name and address, please,
Oh,
ma'am?
sure. Sorry, Kelly Staniszewski, 47 Hamlet Street. I was at the meeting as well last night. I just wrote a couple things down. They say not to point fingers and get solutions, and I understand that. But in order to get solutions, people have to be accountable for what did go wrong, and I think a lot of people were in play on this. One, I've tried to let you guys know last year that I tried to get a hold of the school committee, wanted to talk at the meetings and find out what was going on, and I was shut out. I sent an email, it had to be in by 12, and then I got an email, can you read this during the meeting? And I was told no. So there's no parent involvement from me, but there was no other parents that really were knocking down the doors either to talk. We need parents involved. Then my next question would be, all those teachers last night, they were there, they were supporting what was going on, but where were they last September? When most kids were able to get back to school and they knew that it was doing more damage for the kids to be out of school than into school. Not one person on this council, not one person as teachers were standing up for these kids. So they missed more school than what they needed to miss because the transmission was low. City Council, I blame you guys, and I hope you guys start taking responsibility. There's no 5-year plan fixed on all these apartments that are building. Who are gonna fund the schools once they're built? We're talking mills being converted to apartments and apartments and apartments. Who's paying for the public safety, the schools that need to be built, the traffic? Nobody's concerned about that. Last month, there was 11 zoning board of appeals. 11. Lawrence is very generous with their lot size, 5,000 square feet. If you need a variance on 5,000 square feet, it shouldn't be built. Where are you guys standing up for this? As soon as they find an empty piece of land, they're building. And then the people that are funding this are holding the buns and they're getting tax relief while your constituents are paying for the taxes. And then I would have to say, the superintendent took most of it, but I think it's everybody. It's a whole feeling of the system. And you guys took away our vote when Mayor Rivera left. We completely shut out of this.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I'm looking virtually to see if there is anybody who wishes to speak. I see perhaps Jess Andors. Did you wish to speak, ma'am?
Thank you, Council President. My name is Jessica Andors. I live at 3 Jackson Terrace in Lawrence. I wish to speak to an item that I hope you are going to take off the table as a council later tonight. It's item, I think, 18520, pertaining to the RGO zoning overlay district. And I believe there'll be a presentation on it, but I just wanted to encourage the council to do what is recommended, or what will be recommended, I believe, and pull back the borders of the RGO overlay district so that they don't overlap with the borders of the 40R zoning district in the mill area. Doing so is not going to affect either way the amount of housing or other kinds of space that is built or not built in the district. A residential and mixed-use development is allowed by right under both sets of zoning, but pulling back that other district and making them contiguous instead of overlapping is going to clear up a lot of confusion, hold developers to a slightly higher standard of affordability, which we very much need in the city, and allow the city to get some incentive payments from the state for housing that is, going to be developed anyway down there. So I just wanted to state that LCW was part of the groups that helped create and work on the zoning overlay, the RGO overlay, when it was first formed, but we are in support of pulling back the borders to accommodate 40R. So I hope that you'll be able to support that later. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak virtually at this point? And I'm not seeing any hands up. At this point, public participation is now closed. I am providing to the city clerk the document with a sign-in sheet with the names of the individuals and their addresses and their subject matter to be made part of the record. Starting off with public hearings, document 16321. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
City of Lawrence, public hearing, document 16321. Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, October 19th, 2021 at 7 p.m. at a public meeting at the Lawrence City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 2.105.510 of the Municipal Code, Stockton Park Commission, to be inserted in the proper numerical order. 2.105.010, establishment. There is established in the city an advisory commission for the Stockton Park, located at the intersections of Winthrop Avenue, South Union Street, and Exeter Street. 2.105.20, purpose. The commission shall be in charge of considering and selecting historic figures who are to be highlighted at the displays located in the park. Each year, the commission will accept nominations for the individual honoree, select that year's honoree, and select a local artist to paint, render the honoree. The honoree would have a direct connection to Lawrence, born or lived in Lawrence, and had a significantly unique impact on the city or beyond. The honoree would need to have been deceased for at least 10 years before the commission can consider for honoring. The commission may advertise, prepare, print, and distribute books, maps, charts, plans, and pamphlets necessary for its work. Further, the commission may also receive funds from the city or other sources. The commission may also receive gifts of property, both real and personal, in the name of the City of Lawrence, subject to approval of the City Council. Such gifts are to be managed and controlled by said commission for the purpose of this section. The commission shall designate a member to perform typical duties such as taking minutes, copying, mailings, coordination of meetings, office space, etc. The commission shall keep records of its meetings and actions and shall file an annual report which shall be printed in the city annual report. 2.105.030, membership. The commission, who shall serve without compensation, shall be composed of 7 members as follows: 4 Lawrence residents appointed by the mayor and subject to the city council confirmation. The executive director of the Lawrence History Center ex officio, the executive director of the Essex Art Center ex officio, and the district city councilor whose district includes Stockton Park ex officio. For initial appointments to the commission, the mayor shall appoint, with the city council confirmation, the 4 Lawrence resident members of the commission for the following terms of service. 1, 2 members shall be appointed for the term of 3 years. 2, 1 member shall be appointed for the term of 2 years. And 3, 1 member shall be appointed for the term of 1 year. B, thereafter, all successor appointments shall be for a 3-year term. Any midterm appointment to fill a vacancy shall be only for the unexpired portion of the term and shall be made in the manner prescribed in 2.105.030. 2.105.050, Chairperson and Administration. A, the commission shall annually elect one of its members chairperson and may elect other offices as it may deem necessary. B, the commission shall meet at least annually. 4 members of the commission shall constitute a quorum, and a majority of those present shall be sufficient for any action taken by the commission. To the extent that there exist any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Thank you. The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Hearing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors, what is your pleasure?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Rodriguez. Discussion?
Discussion.
Councilor Rodriguez. I'm sorry, Councilor Gonzalez seconded, Councilor Rodriguez.
Councilor Gonzalez may second the motion. I'm just asking to speak.
Correct. Councilor Rodriguez, you have the floor.
Sure. This park is the one located at the Five Corners South Lands, right?
Correct.
So at the waterfront. How many commissions we have in the city of Lawrence total?
I don't know how many total number of commissions there are in the city of Lawrence.
All right, I think that so far what I have found is that we have 5 commissions in the city of Lawrence. The airport commission, the hello?
You have the floor, Councilor.
All right. So far I found that we have the airport commission, the disability commission, the history commission, the human rights commission, and the licensing board, the licensing commission. So there is no history having a commission for a park, not even the Companion Park, which is the biggest park in the city of Lawrence, have a commission. Why we are going this direction with this specific park?
So since I'm the author of this particular motion and I do want to engage, it may be at this point prudent to hand the gavel over to the next senior individual, would be Mr. Abdu. The challenge I'm going to face here very quickly is that he needs access to this computer to be able to, but if I can bring that over, that might work. So, with me, Mr. Rodriguez.
No one told me to be a test. What do I need to do?
Just recognize him and speak when it's your turn. And you got the floor, and everything's normal. So just,
So I don't need to do anything.
yeah, you just see people there when they want to speak, they'll have their hands up. And he'll, yeah, very good.
At this time, I'd recognize Councilor Rodriguez's question to the sponsor of the bill, and that would be Mr. LaPlante from District F.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. So the idea here is that Stockton Park is a park in one of the primary parts of our city. It's in the gateway section of our city. And, you know, we as a council were able to put some money toward that rehabilitation. And if it wasn't for the COVID and the supply chains, I think we'd be much further along than we have been. The idea here is that money put on here with the mayor's leadership at this point to move this project forward and in consultation with that office. What an element that I wanted to see as part of that was to remember many of our Lawrence residents who contributed in such a way. We don't have that really in our city. And I wanted to meld both our history and our art, and getting people involved in the art community to do some fantastic pieces of work and having a commission do it. But there needed to be a structure to determine who would be the person that would be selected to go ahead and have their a rendering of them. And so it seemed like the prudent course of action would be to form a community-based commission with some people who are ex officio and some other individuals from the community at large to be there to help make that decision. So this is driven by our city rather than an individual says, I'm having this, I'm having that. It's going to be a collective thing. And so, yeah, I'm pretty proud to say this is kind of a novel idea, but understanding that whenever you start selecting somebody over somebody else, there are elements that need to be addressed. And so I thought that it would be a very prudent, and the best course of action is to bring people together and have this structure to make it work. And I hope that helps answer the question.
Thank you, Mr. LaPlante.
That probably did, but I wasn't able to hear you well. And, but I hear your points. Well, what I mean is, like, the reason that I'm raising that question is because if we look at the commissions that we have in the city of Lawrence, the April Commission, the Disability Commission, the History Commission, the Human Rights Commissions, which is one of the most important commissions and the less active commission, the Licensing Board Commission. Those commissions, by definitions, have the power of perform and act. So that's basically providing a group of good citizens the power of doing what they believe should be done at that location. And that haven't happened in any other park. We just finished up the O'Connor Park, which we invest, I believe, probably more than $700,000 in that park, and that was not, a commission wasn't needed. And there is many other parks that have tremendous history behind it, and we haven't done that. I think that doing this, we actually probably incorporating a precedent that is not the typical precedent that we do in the city of Lawrence. We have 5 commissions, like I said. So far as I know, we have the airport, disability, history, human rights, and licensing. Having a commission for a park, I think that goes way and beyond to probably protect that park. I don't know, but I just wondering. Is the mayor was part of this discussion because of the fact that the mayor is going to be probably the one that, as any other commission, I don't know if this is going to be different. It's going to be the appointee person, and we're going to confirm as a city council, as any other commission we have in the city of Lawrence. I don't know. Having a commission, creating a commission for a park, when I think it's compared to what we have commissions for, April Commission, Disability Commission, History Commission, Human Rights Commissions, and Licensing Commission. I think that I don't think we have to go that far, when by definition a commission is an order of granting the power of performers, which means that we ordering that commission to perform. We granting the power of doing things at the park, and most likely we as a city, or perhaps the administration or the city council, won't have much to say. That probably having a commission for something else probably good, but for a park, I believe we're going too far. And I respect the intentions behind it, but I think that a commission comparing what other commissions we have in the city of Lawrence, and I'm going to read myself again: the April Commission, the Disability Commission, the History Commission, the Human Rights Commission, and the Licensing Commission. I think it's too much. I don't know. But that's my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Are there other questions? Comments?
Just want to make one quick comment, Mr. Chairman, through you.
My apologies. We have not heard from Councilor Dela Cruz. Councilor Dela Cruz, my apologies for not seeing your virtual hand up. You have the floor.
Thank you, Council. My question is the Neighborhood Association included into this commission? Because as far as I know, they are the one helping out the community so much. Then that commission has anything to do with the neighborhood association? With the, you know, they has been working very hard for that area, and are they included, is my question.
So the closest neighborhood association is Colonial Heights. The other one would be South Common Central, which is the other one, but it's got a very wide swath. I think the beauty behind this is when the mayor is sending down the appointees, and there's going to be a public discourse about this. I don't want to make this bigger than it is, and it seems like a lot of words here, and a lot of these things are because there are previous language that seems to work for other boards and commissions. But the idea here is to have a very public way of choosing people who are going to be recognized for the public good. And in a very public way, there needs to be a public forum for that. And this is a structure for that. And regarding the specifics of neighborhood groups, I as one, as the author of this, would love to see input not only from the neighborhood groups, but people who are residents who may not be part of the neighborhood groups, who may still want to participate or have their say in this, because this should be a very public process.
Thank you. Councilor De La Cruz?
But, you know, I know it's about 3 neighborhood associations around that area. If they already working hard for that areas, then why not for them to be part of that commission?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, there's every good reason if somebody from a neighborhood association has an interest in being a part of this. There is absolutely many, many good reasons why that individual should apply for that position. Keep in mind, there are 4 positions here that can be from the public, and I think we need to have some sort of flexibility and give whoever is the mayor, whether it's this mayor, the next mayor, or the mayor after that, this should have some legs to it, to have the ability to, if there are neighborhood association people who want to be a part of it, then absolutely. I think it's better if we give it a little bit of, we have structure, but not tie it too much, because we need to have some flexibility with respect to choosing the members. I do want to, I don't want to drag anybody into this at all, but we did have neighborhood discussions at Stockton Park where we were able to bring in residents to have a conversation. And one of my colleagues was there as well during at least one, perhaps 2 of them. And this was part of the discussion. And there was there were individuals there who thought this was a very good idea. And these are members who live in the abutting houses and structures in that area. So there's a discussion that actually took place, not in a silo, but we took advantage of these public meetings through Groundworks Lawrence and the administration just to pursue it. And I want to provide some assurances and comfortableness that this may be a good thing. Let's give this a chance. And maybe if there's public excitement about something like this, this could be an opportunity for other things throughout the city as well. Let this be a marquee example of a possible way of getting individuals more involved in decision-making in our government.
Thank you, Ms. LaPlante. Councilor De La Cruz, I see your hand remains up. Did you have anything further?
No, my hand is down. Thank you for the answer.
Thank you, Councilor De La Cruz. Are there other questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Other comments? Councilor Levy.
I have a question. That commission is just only for that specific area?
Mr. LaPlante.
The answer is yes. This is just for this specific area, and keep in mind the only responsibilities of this commission is not for the maintenance of the park. It doesn't take over the park duties. It is for the selection of the individuals who are going to be honored with their replica, with their face, with their story of why they are chosen by this group, and then selecting somebody to actually do. Hopefully, it's a Lawrence person who's going to be doing the drawing, doing that, whether it's a mural or an art, something that's Lawrence related, that's going to be a part of that. And then the part of this commission as well is this allows this commission to be able to get money in as well, to be able to raise it and perhaps give a stipend to an artist, because artists, as we all know, don't make a lot of money necessarily, and to provide them some money, that's also an element that able to fundraise to provide for that.
Thank you, Ms. LaPlante. Councilor Levy, does that answer your question?
Yes, so why do not integrate all of the other part of the city? I feel like, it's like a separation between one area to the other. So, okay, we have like a neighborhood association for every different area, but a commission is something that could be more integrated, not just only for a specific site or whatever.
Councilor LaPlante?
So thank you. So I think that the uniqueness of this is that this is regarding art and history for one location. If we were to think that there would be an expansion of this kind of model elsewhere in the city, then perhaps maybe we can expand this. If somebody were to say, we're really focusing at this new park, we're going to be doing something similar there, then perhaps we could do that. But I'm open to that, but my sense here is that this is a very unique situation because there's no place else in the city where we have public art like that's going to be crafted here. And also marrying that with our sense of history and historical individuals, whether big or small. So if we said that there was a park elsewhere and that they were going to do the same thing and they were going to be putting up these structures where artists can go there and do what they need to do, then yeah, we could do that. As a matter of fact, what we could do, here's my recommendation, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more through you, Mr. Chairman. If there is another park that wants to replicate what's happening here, we can always come back to this ordinance and then expand it to allow another park if that's what another park is going to do. I don't care where in the city it is. So let's start off with this, and if there's an expansion of that, let's be open to that.
Thank you, Mr. LaPlante. Thank you, Councilor. Are there other speakers on this item? Councilor Reyes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
My pleasure.
For more than 2 years, I working very close for those residents because we started more than 2 years ago to planning, and they request they want to see the park beautiful renovation because that's the park is like a welcoming for every people come to Lawrence. And I have a meeting yesterday with a couple of them, but they don't know anything about this commission. This commission is something new for you want to presenting, and what is the way to present it to the community to identify what member of this specific area want to be a part for this commission.
Councilor LaPlante, if you wish.
So if we are successful this evening with adopting this, we would need to go ahead and advertise that there's openings for this commission. And then so in doing so, individuals that you may know, for example, I'm not sure of anything, but I would think that a mayor would take from a city councilor some people who they think might be good people to serve on this committee, and then maybe recommend, like we would do for anything else. I know one of our previous colleagues talked about the commissions. We're constantly looking for good people to serve. So if there's somebody there who has an interest in the arts and in the history and being able to do that, I think there's probably a seat at the table for someone like that.
Thank you. I prefer to bring the idea to my community to see what they want to do, what they want to see. Presenting, we're planning to form a specific commission for the specific park. I think the really good idea is to set up the meeting with the community and presenting, we want to planning to create a special commission for this park. Because when the groundwork Lawrence presenting the design, they are very excited because they mentioned we supposed to start in this construction this year. So I want to see what they want to know about it.
So if we were, and I'm sensing there's a lot of questions, and I get it because this is a pretty unique situation. I don't think we've done something like this, and I understand why there's a lot of questions, and I encourage the questions because this could be a model of something fantastic that we may want to do elsewhere. Maybe some places it won't be art, but in this particular case, it's about selecting people, it's about selecting artists, it's about telling the story of our city. And that's what the commission is going to do. And I guess the question is I mean, if we find, I mean, we already are having the structure there, right? I think it's more important than to have just one person say, yeah, I want this, this, and this going there, to have a bunch of us have a say on that. We already have, it's part of the design, that's already part of it, that structure for the painting and all that. So if we don't do anything, well, let's say there's not anything there, the question is we're going to have this design, we're going to have this stuff, but nothing's going to be on that stuff. So, I mean, I'm willing to go ahead and work with the counselors. I mean, there's a lot of questions here. I don't find this to be, I mean, maybe I'm missing something. I don't find this to be controversial, but perhaps I'm missing something. Maybe it is controversial. If the council feels as though there's a better need to bring it back, you know, we can certainly do that. I don't know what that result of that conversation is going to be, because the conversation, do you want to have a commission or not a commission? The public's going to say, we don't want a commission, let the mayor decide. I don't know where we're going with that. I'm trying to open up so the public does have a say in it, as opposed to a mayor or just a city council. We're going to have a group. But listen, I do want to make progress on this, and if there needs to be more questions asked, I mean, I'm game for that.
Councilor.
It's not clear to me. You mentioned it's more better for one person decide any changes que a bunch of people, because that you say? Because I prefer the whole community bring their idea to moving forward for any project we presenting to our community.
What will happen to our community is our community will be able, if this structure is in place, there's going to be 4 members of Lawrence residents. There's going to be I'm not going to be in this position forever. Whoever's going to be in that community, that district counselor, whoever that is, the person who's going to be part of the Essex Arts Center, because they have a part to play in this, the art side. The Lawrence History Center, because they have a part to play on the history side. And so we have these ex officios. And then the idea here is to again, members of the community can be a part of this. So when they have their meeting, the commission will be looking for ideas. That's how I envision it. When 7 people are together, members of the community say, I know this one person who fits the criteria that we have. This is what this person has done in their lifetime. We should honor that person, tell that person's story, and that's my nominee. So if a member of the community, any member of the community, it's a public park, can come ahead and make that decision. I don't feel comfortable making a decision. I want this person's picture printed. I don't want that person. I don't feel comfortable having the mayor saying, I want this person, this person. I would much rather see the community get involved in this discussion rather than one political official.
Yeah, I think it's not an issue, because when we do a community meeting, we give you the opportunity, and through the conversation, the person decide who person they choose to represent. And also, I follow the same question from Councilor Levy, because we represent the whole city. I would like to see any project, any commission represent the whole community. Thank you.
Thank you, Thank you, Councilor Reyes, and I would note, the chair would note, before I recognize Councilor Payano, that there are other examples of commissions outside of the ones that have been cited this evening. That would be school building commissions for the Weatherby, for the Arlington, and over the years, there's been commissions. Hasn't been like this, hasn't been with respect to art and whatnot, but I would note there are other examples within our city since the charter change of 1983 where we have had commissions. So with that, I want to recognize Councilor Payano. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'll say I'm going to make a motion to table. It sounds like there's a lot of questions here, and there's to give time for councilors to understand this more. I do have, just for the proponent, I don't necessarily need an answer now, but essentially having the district city councilor, I just wonder, so the purpose, whether there should be a city councilor in there, should it be the district city councilor? There potentially at-large city councilors that would want to sit on something like that as well. Maybe the city council should determine who ends up sitting in that, or maybe there shouldn't be a city councilor. Just by allowing the residents by themselves to determine this, that might be fine enough. Like I think like empowering our residents to make these types of decisions without adding, potential politics into it. Not speaking about current, just thinking about the future wise. I think that might be something to think through. So that's sort of my stance. I still have I think it'd be great to reflect, and as Councilor Reyes said, talk to constituents just to get a little bit more feedback as to this.
And Council, and before you table, may I add a little something else?
It has not been seconded, I would note. So there's a motion by Councilor Payano to table. Is there a second?
I withdraw my motion to table.
There's a withdrawal. Councilor Rodriguez, floor is yours.
If you allow me, Council Payano, I'm just wondering to see if we can send correspondence to the mayor to see what his opinion on this as well.
So there is no motion on the floor right now, Mr. Rodriguez. So Mr. Payano.
Through you, Council Payano, you have the floor. Do you mind doing that?
So what I'm hearing.
There is no motion for discussion. I would note there is nothing on the floor to discuss right now. So Councilor Rodriguez, what I would like to do, I know what you're trying to do. Let me recognize you to make a statement, and then we can make a statement and see if there's other councils that has a further statement.
No, my statement is that, all part of government should be at least aware of this. And we should send correspondence to the mayor to see what he think about this, because he's going to be part of the commission by appointing the members of the commission. So why not to get his opinion on this as well? So with that said, I'll make a motion to send correspondence to the mayor to send his opinion on this.
Councilor Rodriguez?
There's a motion on the floor by Mr. Rodriguez to send correspondence to the mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second by Councilor Reyes. Is there discussion? Mr. LaPlante.
Yeah, so real quickly, so this has not been done in a vacuum. This has been done with DPW director, working in consultation, of course, with the mayor. So I don't expect anything but a positive response from them, because this is not something that, like I said, it's been working in the shadows. The plans have been made. The plans have been made with DPW, with their involvement, and especially their director, also with Groundworks Lawrence. So this is not like it's been in the shadows. So if the colleagues want to get a letter from the mayor reinforcing that, then that's fine. I have obviously no objections to that. But anyway, I just want to give some background.
Thank you, Mr. LaPlante. I would recognize Councilor Levy at large.
Thank you, Mr. Council Rodriguez, will you also would like to send a correspondence to the attorney just to make sure on the, like, the language or whatever that's, regarding adding a new commission? And
Yes, of course. I accept that as a friendly amendment.
thank you.
I'm not fully clear what the statement was, but I do thank you, Mr. Rodriguez and Mr. LaPlante.
This language did come from the city attorney. This was not done, and I did not draft this myself. The city attorney gave this language after the ordinance committee had their hearing. So all this came from the city attorney's office. But again, if the council wants to send correspondence to the city attorney as well, just to be triple sure about this, okay.
What was the motion on the
Mr.
table?
Rodriguez?
It is not that we're doubting what Councilor LaPlante is saying. We just want to have an official documentation that's what they are saying. That's all. I mean, I'm pretty sure that, work with the different departments throughout times to develop this idea, but having an official letter from the different departments, including the mayor and the city attorney, is not a bad thing for the process. That's all we're asking.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Is there anyone who hasn't spoken? Hearing or seeing none on screen, I would call the vote. And the motion, I would remind you, is to send a letter to the mayor. And I would ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilor Levy. Councilor Levy.
She said yes.
Councilor Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Abdu.
No.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes is absent. President LaPlante.
No.
Madam Clerk?
5 yes, 2 no, 1 present, and 1 absent.
Motion passes 5-4. Excuse me. Passes. Motion passes. So with that, I believe I just heard a motion by Mr. Payano to table this matter, and
I'm sorry.
and it was seconded by Mr. Rodriguez. There is no discussion on a table motion. Madam Clerk, I would ask you to call the roll.
Vice President Reyes is absent. Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor Abdu.
No.
Councilor Reyes. Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez.
No.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
No.
And Madam Clerk, the roll.
5 yes, 3 no, and 1 absent.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, councilors. The next item for public hearing is document number 19421. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, October 19th, 2021, at 7 p.m. at a public meeting at the Lawrence City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning a petition presented by the Massachusetts Electric Company, DBA National Grid of North Andover, Mass. 01845, requesting that the City of Lawrence, Mass. By and through its City Council members for permission to locate poles, wires, and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures, along and across the following public way: Union Street, National Grid to install 1 JO pole 15 on Union Street, beginning at point approximately 21 feet east of the central line of the intersection of Union Street and Canal Street to support new service of power for a new construction project at 215 Canal Street. The pole is located on the east side of Union Street. A copy of the related plan, the petition, and all documents filed on behalf of the petitioner are available for examination, viewing, and copying at the office of the City Clerk, City Hall, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. Any business day during the hours of 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and is also available at the City Council Public Hearing website. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak?
Vasna Ang, 1101 Turnpike Street, North Andover, Mass.
Could you give your name one more time again? I'm sorry.
Vasna Ang, 1101 Turnpike Street, North Andover, Mass.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Represent National Grid. So, as the councilperson said, we're looking to get a petition for pole 15 in order to get power to 215 Canal Street. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public, other members who wish to speak on this matter? Hearing none, the public hearing is now closed. Council, what is your pleasure?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion made to approve,
Second.
seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Vice President Reyes is absent. Councilor Rodriguez. Councilor De La Cruz. Councilor Payano. Councilor Abdu.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes.
Yes.
The motion carries. The next document is document number 20621. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, October 19th, 2021 at 7 p.m. at a public meeting at the Lawrence City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning amendments to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by adding the following new paragraph. Section 2.16 of the Municipal Code, City Clerk, to be inserted in the proper numerical order. 2.16.050, electioneering, for the time period designated for in-person absentee voting and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts early voting period. No poster, card, handbill, placard, picture, or circular intended to influence the action of a voter other than those expressly authorized by General Law, Chapter 54, Section 65, shall be posted, exhibited, circulated, or distributed in any building where early voting is to take place, including on the walls thereof, on the premises on which the early voting takes place, or within 150 feet of the building entrance door. To the extent that there exists any ordinance to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Councilor Abdu, seconded by Councilor
Second.
Levy. Discussion.
I have a comment,
Councilor Levy.
Mr. Chair. I would like to thank you, Ms. LeBlanc, for taking this decision on doing this. And I hope that, at the next election, we take care and that anyone who do not comply with this can bring, I don't know, if we're gonna fine or whatever that we have to do, but we have to give a lesson to the person that do not comply with this new law. Thank you, Mr. LeBlanc.
Thank you, Councilors. Are there any other councilors who wish to speak on this matter? Hearing none, Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice President Estela Reyes is absent. Counselor Rodriguez. Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor Abdu.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Yes. The motion carries. Budget and Finance Committee reports, these are going to be sent to document number 22321. Mr. Abdi, you have a committee report on that item?
Thank you, Mr. President. On the evening of October 13th, the Budget and Finance Committee recommended by unanimous vote item number 22321, order to expend grant funds, Rondon family donation of $5,000 to the fire department. And before I turn, I know the chief is with us. We had a very good discussion, and the committee showed its appreciation for the Rondon family and a very generous donation. And I would recognize the chief is here this evening. If he wishes to add comments, I would ask for that through you, Mr. Chair, Mr. President.
So let's start off with the committee report and a favorable recommendation.
Favorable recommendation, yes, yes, sir.
Favorable recommendation, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Gonzalez. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy. Counselor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Abdu.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes is absent. President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. The next document is document 22421, Budget and Finance Committee, Chairman Abdu.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the evening of October 13th, the Budget and Finance Committee met and voted by unanimous vote to recommend to this full council item number 22421, order to expend grant funds, Emergency Management Performance Grant in the amount of $25,600 as presented by Chief Brian Moriarty. I submit that to you in the form of a committee report.
So that is a committee report and not a favorable recommendation?
Favorable recommendation.
And second.
Favorable recommendation,
Yes, sir.
seconded by Counselor Rodriguez. Counselor Gonzalez, excuse me. Discussion. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Vice President Reyes is absent. Counselor Rodriguez. Counselor De La Cruz. Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor Abdu.
Yes.
Counselor Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Next document is document number 225, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the evening of October 13th, Budget and Finance Committee recommended by unanimous vote item number 22521, order to expend grant funds, FY22 Municipal Road Safety, MRS, grant up to $49,977 as presented by Eileen Burnell, Lawrence Police Department Director of Support Services, and I submit it to you in the form of a motion.
Second.
Favorable recommendation, motion has been made, and it's been seconded by Counselor Selena Reyes. Discussion. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Abdu.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes is absent. President LaPlante.
Yes. Yes. Motion carries. Next document is document number 226, Mr. Abdu.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Budget and Finance Committee recommended by unanimous vote item number 22621, order to expend grant funds, FY22 SSY grant in the amount of $700,000 as presented by Eileen Burnell, LPD Director of Sports Services, and I would submit that to you in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded by Councilor Gonzalez. Discussion. Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Vice President Reyes is absent. Councilor Rodriguez. Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes, yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor Abdu.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes.
Yes. I would like to register my vote as yes.
Councilor Rodriguez's vote is yes. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, document number 228.
Mr. President, the final item this evening is item number 22821, and the Budget and Finance Committee recommends by unanimous vote 22821, order to expend grant funds, FFY, Federal Fiscal Year 19, PSN grant from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security in the amount of $49,731 as presented by Eileen Burnell, LPD Director of Support Services, and I submit that to you in the form of a motion.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Gonzalez. Discussion. Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Abdu.
Yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes is absent. President LaPlante.
Yes. Motion carries. The next set of documents are coming out of the Ordinance Committee. Document number 21421. Vice Chair of the Ordinance Committee. You have a motion for the committee report for document 21421. Councilor De La Cruz.
I'm here. I'm working with my second screen. Yes. I'm ready. Document 214-21, resolution to obstruct Oak Street from the intersection of Oak Street and Lawrence Street to the intersection of Oak Street and Shore Street for construction of the new Oliver School project. Odanis Hernandez.
A motion been made.
Second.
And it's been seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion. Mr. Rodriguez.
Is Odani Hernandez here today?
Ms. Hernandez is here today. Would you wish to speak with her?
I think that this should be two set of or as a permit that include the actual area for the laydown yard,
Yes.
which is it's also included, because I only see the part for the basically the traffic section that obstruction the street.
May I speak? Good evening, councilors. Councilor Rodriguez, that's correct. We submitted another image to include, and also different language to include also the lay-down area, which is a section of the baseball field. Here with me also is Dan McCarthy from the Planning Department for further clarification, if there is any.
Okay, and what is the plan that that we have to put back together the actual baseball or softball park and the other area that is on there?
Sure, so the section of the section of the field or the area that's going to come off or come down from being used as a lay-down area is the sidewalk and parts of the fence. It has been, through contingency funding, it has been built into the project to leave the park or the lay-down area, to leave it the way we find it, or to leave it the way it is as of the day that we
No, I'm
take
wondering to know more like, what is the plan to put it back together on the better than what we find, what you guys find it today, or in the similar condition?
Yes, that's,
Because I mean, a lay down yard for construction, and trust me, I have a lot of experience in that. They basically gonna take over that area, and nothing that you're gonna have there is gonna be in the same place 2 months from when the construction start. So any grass that is available there is gonna be destroyed, especially the material that is there to dry out the field of the baseball park. So all that stuff is gonna be all messed up once the construction starts. My question is, do we have a plan to restore that park back to the same place, to the same original condition, or a better condition than what it is today?
correct. So we do have, it has been built into the project and the contingency budget to reconstruct any areas of the baseball field that or the field that we use as the lay-down area, to put the sidewalks back, to put the fencing back, and any other soil, grass, trees that we do not intend to cut, but put everything back the way it is from the date that the project take over that area.
Do you have that on writing as part of the permitting process?
We do, yes, sir. We'll be happy to share that language with members of the council tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning. I'm just looking at the rest
Is it on the package?
I'm sorry, Counselor?
Is the language to have that included is on the package? Because I can't see it here. If you guide me, I can probably be able to see it.
No, Counselor, you will not see it because it is not part of the package that you have in front of you. I should know for the record that we added the language to this original permit to obstruct from a recommendation from City Attorney, which we're glad that she gave us the recommendation. We had received verbal and written approval from current Mayor Kendris Vasquez to use this as a lay-down area, and also from former Mayor Dan Rivera. And the team wanted to formalize the process and be transparent, and we included this information in the current permit to obstruct, just to be transparent. But we have the information. We did not, I apologize. We did not include that with this package, but I am happy to send that to you, Councilor Rodriguez, and the rest of the councilors as soon as tomorrow morning.
All right. With that said, since we don't have it in front of us, but it's a compromise from different departments, I would like to make a motion to include that language on the permitting process, on the permitting package tonight, to ensure that the park will be restored to a condition that is similar to the same condition that it is today, or a better condition. I would like to make that as a form of a motion. That way we ensure that it's happening.
So there is are you looking to amend the current committee? It's currently it's a report right now that's been already been submitted, correct? Clerk, I'm just looking for where we are. Somebody already made a motion to approve. It's been properly seconded. We're having a discussion at this point. So the question now is, do you want to amend the motion that's already the underlying motion?
No, I just wanna have another motion, that way we can continue the discussion.
You want to make a motion to continue the discussion? Could you be a bit more clear, please?
I made the motion, it was second. The order is to call the vote or the discussion on this motion. That's the order. I don't want to amend the original motion that is in place as well.
So, just so the clerk is aware of what you're looking to accomplish, you're looking to make a standalone second motion that will instruct, you want to have some sort of assurances that the park that's going to be impacted is going to be no worse off than where it is today. You want it to be in the same or better condition. You want that to be part of the permitting package. Is this what you're looking for, Counselor?
I believe I was very clear with that, yes.
We want to make sure that we accurately reflect that in the minutes. So, I believe this resolution, and help me understand this a little bit more, and I'm looking to Mr. McCarthy here on this. This is a resolution that will allow for permitting for this particular project along Oak Street. Is that what the underlying motion is? Is that what the debate is at this point?
Yeah, that's correct. It's the,
We asked, they're gonna use that field, and they're gonna leave it the same way they find it.
that will accomplish three things. One would be the temporary obstruction, and when we say temporary, we're talking about a period of 3 years of Oak Street from the intersection of Lawrence to the intersection of Short Street. So that's the point from near the high school to just behind the Oliver School. It'll be obstructed, but it'll still be open to emergency vehicles, and it'll still be open to all there's three tenants or residents of that street. There is the Lawrence Public Library, the YMCA FINA House, and the Methodist Church, who all have parking lots. Those will all be open to traffic for all the participations, for any events and for anything that occurs. All on-street parking will be eliminated for the period of construction, and then the third request is the use of what we call ball field number 2 from the O'Neill Park, and that's the one directly across from the Oliver School, and that will be the laydown yard, and where the construction team will be set up. Equipment will be kept there overnight, and it'll all be fenced off. And we have a plan that was presented to the committee, showing maps and delineations. I have that on the thumb drive, but and we had sent it around to the members. I have hard copies for all the members here. I also have a letter from the Recreation Department. I have letters from the Police Department, the Fire Department, the Recreation Department, and from the Department of Public Works. And the Recreation says,
I think that we're gonna.
I've had the opportunity to review the proposed construction safety plan for the demolition and reconstruction of the Henry K. Oliver School at addresses 96 to 318 Oak Street. The plan calls for the petition of the ball field adjacent to the school project for construction deployment and the temporary closure of a portion of Oak Street and the abutting sidewalks during key periods of construction. The Recreation Department will work to ensure that anyone displaced as a result of this action will be accommodated by either relocation or reschedule of activities for this field. The remaining fields at the O'Neill Playground, including baseball field 1, the soccer field, the basketball court, and the playground, shall all remain open and functioning for the entire activity during this time period.
Through you, Mr. President.
Is there a point of order? Because Mr. Rodriguez has the floor. This was just to clarify with the underlying motion and what Mr. Rodriguez is attempting to do. Is this a point of order? Is this a parliamentary point of order? Because if not, I'm going to go back to Mr. Rodriguez and ask him for some clarification. It seems as though what Mr. Rodriguez is looking is to put a condition on this permit. The condition is that this permit is conditional upon the fact that this park will not be in worse shape than what it is. If he's providing a condition, that would be an amendment. If it's an amendment, he's got two ways of offering an amendment. he can ask Councilor Maria Delacruz, who's the chair of the committee who made the motion to adopt a friendly amendment, or counter that, or alternatively, he can make an independent amendment, get a second, and then we can have a vote on the amendment. Councilor Rodriguez, what is your pleasure?
I believe that's exactly the second option. That's exactly what I did. I put a motion. It was second by Councilor Payan, and we called the and the proceeding is to call for discussion on the second amendment or call the vote. Once we approve or not approve that second amendment to the original motion, and then we proceed with the first amendment, with the first motion. That's based on the rules of orders. I'm reading it in front of me right now. But you recognize the motion or not? I mean,
So it's very clear. It's very clear to me right now that there is a motion to amend. There's a motion properly to amend this, and it's been properly seconded by Mr. Payano. Is there any discussion on the motion to amend?
And to clear that up, the amendment is to ensure that we have the condition of the park in a same or a better condition than what we find it today.
Are all the councilors clear on the amendment? And it would be very helpful, Mr. Rodriguez, we're going to have a vote on this shortly, but facilitate the administrative portion of this, if you could send that to the clerk after this motion is approved, if it's approved, that would be helpful, so she can accurately have that in the minutes. Does anybody else have any question on this motion to amend? And then we're going to go to the underlying motion. Councilor Delacruz.
Yes. In the ordinance committee, we were told that the park will be renovated.
You got it, you're next.
That the park will be renovated after they finish with the construction. Then I just want to make sure that Ms. O'Donis can assure that at this moment the same thing that we were told on the ordinance meeting.
Ms. O'Donis, there's a question for you. Can you affirm what the discussion took place in the ordinance committee?
Sure, Councilor De La Cruz, I was not there, but the project team was there, and they're here tonight, and they assure me that that's what was said and that it would happen. It will be renovated as stated at the last ordinance committee meeting.
Thank you. That means that part of the request for the ordinance, Mr. Rodriguez. Do you think that we need to specify the words? Be more clear.
I just wanted to put it on writing. That's all. It's part of the permit, and that way it's not on the air. It was part of the discussion, but when I look at the permit, it's not on writing. So we want to make sure that when it comes to that, eventually down the road, that we have a good park on that area that is so much needed. That's all. That's what I want. It's not with bad intentions.
Mr. Rodriguez, can we give the words to Mr. LeBlanc at this moment, that we don't be...
Yeah, my motion is to add a condition that states that after the project is done, the condition of the park shall be the same as it is today or a better condition.
Simple.
So that, simple.
Say renovated. Say the word renovated.
Great or better. Renovated, great or better than what it is today.
I think all the councilors are clear on this. Councilor Gonzalez, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. With all the respect, we already talked about that in the subcommittee, that place, because I've been involved with that new park. I've been fighting for that park for 30 years. That's a new park, and that's the first question I asked. The park had to be living the same way they find it before the construction start. And when Mr. Rodriguez asked for the question, it's not in the contract, I was going to ask that because we already talked about that. That place where they're going to use to put trucks, they have to be leave when the construction finished. the same way they find it. And they say yes. They had to be put them in writing because Mr. Rodriguez don't see them in the writing, but we already talked about that. Thank you.
If there's no further discussion on this amendment, because it is properly made and seconded, clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy,
Yes.
Counselor Gonzalez,
Present.
Counselor Selena Reyes,
Not in the book, already talked about.
Yes.
Counselor Abdu,
Yes.
Counselor Payano,
Yes.
was that a yes?
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz,
Yes, yes.
Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes is absent, President LaPlante.
Yes, the amendment, excuse me, the amendment passes. Is there any further discussion on the underlying permit that's before the council? We're all clear on that. Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice President Reyes is absent, Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Payano, Counselor Payano,
Yes.
Counselor Abdu,
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Counselor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Counselor Levy,
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. The motion carries. Thank you. Counselor Vice Chair Maria De La Cruz, document 22121, handicap parking delete. Will you please give the committee a report?
Document 221-21, handicap parking to be deleted on 95 Alder Street, corner of Exchange. The motion was to approve.
The motion was to make a public hearing for document number 22121. Is there a second to order a public hearing on this document?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Gonzalez. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy,
Yes.
Counselor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Counselor Abdu,
Yes.
Counselor Payano,
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes is absent, President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion to order a public hearing is passed. Document 22221, Council Vice Chair of the Ordinance Committee, Counselor De La Cruz. Will you please give the committee a report?
Come on October 23rd, 21, from 1 to 5 p.m. We requested the person to attend. It is Miss Aisha online. It is Miss Tejada online.
Yes.
So the individual, thank you, Madam Vice Chair. So let's make, there is an individual here for this matter. Did you wish to give a committee report first, and then we could have a discussion?
Sent to be approved. The motion is to, the motion was to approve.
The motion is to approve document number 22221 to allow the use of the common for the group Lawrence for Christ on October 23rd from 1 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Is there a second for that motion? Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion, and we do have the applicant here as well. Discussion? Seeing no discussion on the matter, clerk, please call the roll.
Vice President Reyes is absent, Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Payano,
Yes.
Counselor Abdu,
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Counselor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Counselor Levy,
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. The motion carries. The next document is document number 22721, disclosure by municipal employee Alyssa Coco. Madam Vice Chair of the Ordinance Committee.
Document 227-21, disclosure by municipal employee Alicia Coco, order to approve.
Second.
Motion made by the Vice Chair, seconded properly by Councilor Gonzalez. Discussion, Councilor Rodriguez. Is Ms. Coco here? She is not here.
Thank you, Council. Yes, we have this time around 4 municipal employees who have come forward that they, above and beyond serving the citizens of Lawrence every single day, want to do their civic duty by way of working elections. And each of them, including this individual, has reached out to the Ethics Commission to have the conversation. That's at the advice of the city attorney. They have gone through the proper process. It is because they hold employment with the city that they need to come before this body for an approval in order to, again, work the elections.
I understand. But the question is simple. Are they planning on being a contractor or planning on being a regular employee at Warren? Or a regular employee on that day?
This individual is a poll worker. This individual, yes, a regular person, not a contractor. This is a poll worker.
That answered my question.
Motion to approve.
The motion is already on the floor and has been properly seconded. Any other discussion on this matter? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy. Councilor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Abdu.
Yes.
Councilor Payano. Councilor De La Cruz. Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Vice President Estela Reyes is absent. President LaPlante.
Yes. Motion carries. The next document is document number 23521, disclosure by municipal employee Marina Cornell. Councilor De La Cruz, Vice Chairman.
Mr. President, document 235-21, disclosure by municipal employee Marina Corniel. There is a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion.
Just through you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Is the intention of this person being a poll worker as well?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Vice President Reyes is absent. Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor Abdu.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Abstain.
President LaPlante.
Yes. The motion carries. Councilors, I'm looking for a motion to reconsider on document number 20621. We just adopted an election earring ordinance, and thanks to some members of the public who saw that we needed to make this an emergency item. We did not put an emergency preamble. We do need to put an emergency preamble so that it becomes effective for this election. I am now looking for anyone, because we all voted for it, anyone to make a motion to reconsider on document 20621. Is there a motion?
Motion to reconsider 20621.
Motion by Councilor David Abdu. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Any discussion? Councilor Maria De La Cruz.
Yes, to suspend the 30 days?
Yes, Counselor, that's going to be the end result. We are now making a motion to reconsider. I will then, as soon as that is passed, I will be looking for another motion to adopt again and to include the emergency preamble to waive the 30 days. So the motion's already been made, and it's been properly seconded already. Any further discussion simply on the motion to reconsider? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Vice President Reyes is absent. Counselor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz? Counselor Payano?
Yes.
Counselor Abdu?
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes?
Yes.
Counselor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
President LaPlante?
Yes. The motion to reconsider is adopted. I am now looking for a motion to approve document 20621 to waive and also waive the 30 days. Is there a motion?
So moved?
Motion made by Mr. Abdu, seconded by Counselor, I think it was Levy. Discussion. Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Counselor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes?
Yes.
Counselor Abdu?
Yes.
Counselor Payano?
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz?
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Vice President Reyes is absent. President LaPlante?
Yes. The motion carries. Thank you for your cooperation on that, Council. We appreciate your patience. Under old business, document number 21821, City Hall parking lot evaluation and design by Felix Garcia. I'm going to need a motion for this item. Any motion, a motion to approve, anything so we can have a discussion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Made by Councilor Selena Reyes, and keep in mind, this is from a charter objection, as seconded by Councilor Gonzalez. Actually, so here we are. We're back on the table. We had a charter objection. We're now back live. Any further discussion on this matter?
If we have anybody from the administration, I mean, if they want to say something new, I mean, I'm assuming that the charter objection was done because of a reason.
So the city engineer is with us this evening. As I recall correctly, clerk, and you will correct me if I'm wrong, I think the motion was to support option number 3 on that. So is there any questions for the city attorney? He is here.
Good evening.
If someone could read option number 3 again.
Sure. We're looking for option number 3. City engineer, do you have it close by? Can you give I mean, I think I have a general idea, but if you could, you're probably better off than I am. Can you just summarize option 3?
I could summarize option 3. So it's Felix Garcia, city engineer, 21 Ferry Street, Lawrence, Mass. Option 3, so the issue is that the parking lot is not compliant, it's not ADA compliant. In order to bring it up to code, we're gonna be losing parking spaces because we're gonna make the parking spaces somewhat wider. Once we do that, we're gonna lose parking spaces. In order to not lose parking spaces, we have to protrude into Permitan Way, approximately 15 feet.
Can you make sure the microphone is on? And
Hello?
I want to make sure Councilor Levy, who just said she couldn't hear. Councilor Levy, we're going to have Mr. Garcia say a few more words. Just give me a thumbs up or down.
Test. Oh.
Councilor Levy, can you hear him? Say it again.
Can you talk now?
Go ahead, Councilor and Mr. Garcia. Why don't you try one more time, and
Test.
I'll watch.
Test.
Okay, good. Continue on, Mr. Garcia.
So the whole purpose is to bring the parking lot up to code, ADA compliant. The parking spaces are approximately like around 8 feet, so they're somewhat narrow. So when we do bring it up, we level the parking lot, and we make the parking spaces wider. We'll be losing parking spaces. To not lose parking spaces, we have to protrude into Permitan Way, approximately 15 feet. So the reason why I'm here is asking City Council if we could go with option 3 to protrude into Permitan Way so we won't lose the parking spaces and make the parking lot ADA compliant.
Councilor Payano?
Thank you, Council President. Could I be reminded of the cost of option 2 and option 3?
City engineer, do you have those numbers handy?
So option 2 is to work within the existing limits, and we will lose parking spaces. The approximate cost, and this is per Mass DOT rates, is approximately $440K. For option 3, it will be $564,000, so $564K.
No further questions, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Payano. Are there any other councilors who wish to speak on this item?
Council President?
Councilor De La Cruz?
Yes. Mr. Phillips, we also recommended the use of new energy and new technology to illuminate the area around there. Will that increase the price or the cost of the third option?
Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna look at the estimate real quick. So we do have an item, and that item is for a light pole. So that will be one to illuminate or have better lighting for the parking lot. But then, in terms of better technology, we could definitely look into that, see if we could use anything that's energy efficient, so like that we could save tax dollars.
Then installing the renewable energy is not gonna cost more money. It's already part of.
Say that again, I couldn't hear.
Okay, installing new clean energy to the area will not cost more money than we already have set up on the amount of the $564,000.
It's my professional opinion that it won't increase that price. That price is also, there's a contingency of 20%, which is very conservative. Usually we use 10%, but with the market right now, we use 20%. So even if the LiPo item is a little bit more than what we expected, we have a little bit of cushion to play with, some fluff. So I don't think by going and finding the latest and greatest energy efficient LiPo, I don't think we're gonna croak the budget.
You're welcome, Councilor De La Cruz. Are there any other members of the council who wish to speak on this matter? Councilor Selena Reyes.
Just for clarification, the last time I asked you for maintain the Chester and the staff in this renovation.
Yes, so we're gonna maintain, so similar to what we have on Common Street, near La Rubia, right in front.
Yes.
We have a parking attendant there, always working, assisting anyone that needs any guidance or if they have any questions. So there will definitely be a person, as what we have right now. There'll be a person there helping out. It will be automated, so they'll come in and they'll get a ticket. And the purpose of that for it to be automated is for Saturday or Sunday, or for the weekend. So if there's nobody there, somebody could still utilize it, pay a fee, and once they're done hanging around here, they could go back home. So but we'll definitely have a person there working.
Thank you.
Yep.
If there's no further discussion on this matter, I'll ask the clerk to please, oh, I do hear discussion. Councilor Levy.
Yes. From where that's is coming to pay for this improvement? Because that was part of my question at the last meeting.
Your question was about the budget.
Can you
and
get a
the-
little close, please?
Say again? I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Let me help you out a little bit. Counselor Levy's having a hard time hearing you, Mr. Garcia. So, one of the things that I've learned through this is if we can give a little bit of time between people to speak, that way John Mejia can alter the microphone. Let's try that one more time. Do you understand the question that Counselor Levy is asking you, Mr. Garcia?
No.
Counselor Levy, will you please repeat the question?
From where the money is coming to pay for this improvement?
Thank you. The taxpayers are paying it, but it's a capital improvement funds, and there's 3 accounts we're pulling this. And these accounts, that money was accounted for years ago. So this is nothing new. We're working with something that we looked at from the past.
Because that was my question, and I saw that somebody is going to send something showing, how we're going to pay for this. And the packet that I got doesn't say anything about it.
The accounts, the total amount is $638,000, so that's much more than what we're anticipating.
Counselor Levy.
Can you repeat the last part, please?
The accounts, the budget that we have here is $630,000.
Yes, that is what I heard. That you still have a budget for $630,000. But you were supposed to send something, in writing to us, describing, the expense and everything.
The whole purpose of this is either you approve either you approve option 3 or not. If not, we'll go with option 2, and there's no need, we'll just fix a parking lot with the funds that we have already.
Counselor Levy?
Yes, DPW have the money right now, or this is something that is going to be added for the next year on the capital improvement plan?
This is money that we have right now.
Counselor Levy, the engineer, let me help. The engineer says this is the money that we have right now. Just to refresh all of our memories, during the last meeting, Mr. Reinello happened to be part of the conversation, and he did testify to the council that there is money in the capital improvement budget to fund this matter. He asked Franklin Miguel, Director Miguel, who came in later about this, and Mr. Miguel came by and said that yes, he testified that there is money in the budget to pay for this improvement. I don't believe there is anything technically in writing, but we did receive testimony from both Mr. Reinello and Mr. Miguel.
Well, Mr. President, Mr. Llanello said that he doesn't even know how much money they still have on DPW. And I know that after that, but they were supposed to send us something in writing to us.
Did you get anything?
Councilor Levy, I have not, unless some other councilors have received anything in writing, I have not seen anything in writing on this. So Councilor Levy is making a statement. She has not seen anything in writing. I'm not sure if there's a reaction or a comment, Mr. Garcia, but she's making a statement. She has not seen anything in writing. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
We have any more discussion on this matter? Councilor Rodriguez.
Council President LaPlante, thank you for the floor. Well, I actually would like to say a few things on this project. The first thing that I would like to say that this is 25% concept construction plans that now they're gonna go in front. They're gonna go back to the design table and have it 50% design and then 100% design, or 75-100 to be presented. But the intention of this, as if I can get whatever the city engineer is saying, is that what we have today in front of us is the permitting process, which is not necessarily the funds, because the funds it was already approved on the capital improvement plan last year, and this is part of the capital improvement plan that we approved already last year. So today what we're seeing is either option 1, 2, or 3 to approve the permit for either one of them. The reason why we approving the permit is because we are affecting, and based on what I understood, we are affecting also the piece of land that is right next to the parking lot, which is basically the Pemberton Way, I believe it is the name of it, that we're taking portion of it. So that's basically what we have here in front of us, the permitting process for option, and what is being considered right now is option number 3. So Felix, the 25% contingency that we have, the 20% contingency that we have in front of us, the reason they have so high contingency is because this is only the 25% design they have in front of us?
No, the reason is because with the economy right now, it's fluctuating drastically. So we don't know. No, this is still very preliminary. So by the time we get to 100%, we don't know what the economy might be. So we just want to be conservative. It's better to be conservative.
Got you. All right, no more questions.
Are there any comments by members of the council? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Vice President Reyes is absent. Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz. Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes, I say yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor Abdu.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilor Levy. Vice President LaPlante.
Yes. What's the roll on that?
7 yes, 1 no, and 1 absent.
Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Under tabled matters, are there any documents that members of the council wish to take off of tabled matters? Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes, I want to take 185, that's it.
The motion to take document number 18520 off of table matters. Is there a second? This is a proposed revocation of section 2917A, the Riviendo Gateway Overlay that was originally put on by Mr. McCarthy in May of this past year. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Maria De La Cruz. Councilor Selena, any discussion on the motion to take off the table? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy. Councilor Levy. Councilor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Abdu.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes is absent. President LaPlante.
Yes.
Council Levy, yes.
Yes. Councilor Levy, why do you wish to speak on this matter?
Councilor Levy.
Councilor, how do you wish to vote on this matter? Clerk, will you please record Councilor Levy's call her name again, please.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor Levy is recorded as a yes. The motion to take off the table it carries. I am now looking for a motion. I think the preceding motion was a motion to approve. That is currently before us. Any further discussion on the motion to approve document 18520? It's already been a favorable, it's already have a motion to approve is already before us. Councilors, is there any questions regarding what we're about to vote on? Councilors, I wish to, just so we're clear on this, because it's been several months, I'm not looking for a long dissertation on this. I'm looking for a short summary as to why we're here right now, why was this thing tabled, why 5 months later are we dealing with this as opposed to dealing with it the first time?
Yes. I'll try and be as concise as possible. The issue at hand was the fact that the city has been working to amend the city zoning ordinance using a project, a principle called smart growth development. And we created several smart growth districts over the years. We have provided you with a history of that and some of the documents showing it. The original one that was created back in 2003 was called the Reviendo Gateway Overlay, and that was created by an independent body working with the city group, and it was adopted, as I said, back in October 2003. Then in March 5th of 2019, the city adopted a second overlay district that was created by the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority, working with a consultant, called the Downtown Smart Growth Overlay. So both overlays were created, they both existed, and they overlapped. And it was determined that there was a conflict of principles to the fact that they were overlapping. So at the original motion by the planning department was to rescind the RGO overlay and get rid of it. At the public hearing level, we met with some constituents and people working in the city who pointed out that the RGO did affect a part of the neighborhood that was outside the downtown smart growth, and that they were in favor of keeping it intact for that period. So based upon that, at the planning board level, an amendment was proposed to abandon the RGO overlay only for the portion that overlaps with downtown smart growth overlay. So essentially, we would be creating two separate overlays and a new border line, and that there'll be no overlaying sections. So the downtown overlay, which covers Essex Street, Common Street, Bethune Street, and the island, would be distinct from the RGO overlay, which basically covers the North Common neighborhood. And it'll be separate along Garden Street, and Common Street would be the area where the bisecting line was. So it's pretty straightforward. We're just amending the city ordinance map for a portion of the overlay and removing it so that the two overlay districts will be distinct and separate, and there'll be no disruption of service.
Thank you. The chair will ask, the historical record is a little muddy on this as far as who made the motion, if there is I'm sure that there is. The chair will entertain another motion, apparently for favorable, to adopt this. At this point, that would be in order. Is there a motion for that?
Mr. President, I will be recusing myself from this vote because the conflict.
Council President, I'd like to make a motion.
Councilor Selena Reyes is recused from this vote. I am now looking at Councilor Payano, who's making a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Councilor Maria Dela Cruz. We can continue on with discussion. I think that at this point, I'm not sure if the councilors have any questions, further questions on this. I do have one question regarding the affordable housing component with respect to the DSGO as opposed to the RGO. Can you certify or provide what the difference, if there is a difference, between both
There
of
is
those?
a difference. There's a numerical difference as I said, the RGO, which was originally accepted in 2003, predates the state smart growth ordinance. The state ordinance mandates that you have a 20% affordability requirement for any housing that's approved using this process. The RGO only has 10%, and that's part of the reason we don't want developers in the downtown district forum shopping or trying to find what's the best affordable. We want the 20% affordability to stay with the downtown overlay.
Might I speak? And that's linked to the incentive money that the state pays to the city. So when folks use the updated zoning, incentive payments will help cover some of the additional costs for the city.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion on this matter? Mr. Rodriguez?
To thanks that the chair of that of the planning board that that we took some time of the zoning board that we took some time this week to discuss this matter. She actually spent the time to explain it in a deep way and talk about the ordinance in general and different options that we might have in the future in terms of these. And having that dedication, I highly appreciate it, and I would like to acknowledge that. Thank you both, Mr. McCarthy, and the chair of the zoning board, to taking the time to explain that to me and bring more clarity. Thank you, appreciate it.
Very well. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we're clear on this. Just one more question, Mr. McCarthy. Sometimes there's a change with respect to the number of votes for city councilors on this. Is it your experience as a 5 or a 6 vote needed to pass this?
We need 6 votes, a simple majority, to change the.
6 votes is not a simple majority, it's a super majority. You need 5 or 6.
You need 6.
So it's a super majority that we need on this.
It is correct, because it's changing the zoning ordinance, and the state law that requires a 2/3 vote.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. It's been properly seconded. No further discussion. I'll call the question. Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice President Reyes is absent. Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor Abdul.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes has recused herself. Councilor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
No. The motion passes 6 votes, correct?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other tabled matters before the council? Anybody wants to take off the table? There is a motion to adjourn, but I will say to the counselor that we're probably premature with that motion. We do need to go through new business, and then I will definitely look for you when the time is for the motion to adjourn. If there's no other tabled matters, I am going to go through the new business. Number 23621, 1 hour parking at 275 Broadway, Ordinance Committee. 23721, amend Ordinance 1036-031 to include Willow Street to the Winter Alternative Parking Ordinance Committee. 23821, to amend the ordinance at 1036-031 to include Exchange Street to the Winter Alternative Parking Ordinance Committee. Document 23921, amend Ordinance 10.36.031 to include Sunset Ave to the Winter Alternative Parking Ordinance Committee. Number 24021, 15-minute parking at 93 Saunders by Council Vice President Estela Reyes, Ordinance Committee. Document 24121, 30-minute parking, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 527 Broadway. That is going to the ordinance. That is put on by Councilor Gonzalez and Officer Cano. That's going to the ordinance committee. 24221, 1-hour parking from 9 to 7 to 525 Broadway, put on by Councilor Gonzalez and Officer Cano. That is going to the ordinance committee. Document 24321, handicap parking delete at 41 East Haverhill Street is going to ordinance committee. Document 24421, a fiscal year 2022 property tax classification, public hearing by Alex Vega, put on by the chief assessor. That is going to the budget and finance committee. Document 24521, the police station project, authorization to request to hire a construction manager at risk. That is going to the ordinance committee. Document 24621, order to expend grant funds, library for teens and tweens, youth and family literacy grant of $10,000 is going to the budget and finance committee. Document 24721, order to expend grant funds, TDI Creative Catalyst grant of $5,000 is going to the budget and finance committee. Document 241, flooding insurance increases in Lawrence is going to the ordinance committee. Document 25021, and that's put on by Councilor Rodriguez. Document 25021, no confidence vote on Superintendent Cynthia Paris, put on by Councilor Rodriguez, Payano, Levy, and Reyes, Selena Reyes. That is going to the ordinance committee. Document 25521, handicap parking at 322 Ames Street, put on by Councilor Gonzalez. That is going to the ordinance committee. Councilors, we have a couple of housekeeping things to do. Number one, our next city council meeting would be scheduled for, I think it's November the 2nd, which, as we all know, is Election Day, and traditionally we do not, for obvious reasons, have a city council meeting on Election Day, and we typically and historically have moved that over to the following Thursday, so that would be November the 4th. So we are looking to have our next full city council meeting on November the 4th. We have two things that we want to do. Right now, we want to go through the committees, and then we're going to have the clerk with some election information. Councilor Payano, Public Safety. Councilor Rodriguez, what is your point of order?
On the agenda, on the new items, on the new business, you have let me see the item, hold on a second. The item from Alex Vega, the reclassification. Just by looking at it, I don't know if we, like we do every year, sometimes we have some sensitive timing on that. And it was writing down on the item that it was public hearing. Usually we order the public hearing ahead of time just to save some time on that. Just if you want to, I just want to bring that up because I saw it on the item. I don't have the timeline for that, but we usually tend to do that every year.
Thank you, Councilor. There is a little bit of good news with respect to the timing of the public hearing. According to our Chief Assessor, Alexi Vega, in consultation with DOR, he has informed the city clerk and myself and through the city attorney that there is another option this year. That option would allow us, this would be with state approval, of course, to allow us to go ahead and post the public hearing requirement in a prominent place on our city's website. Because of this relatively new law by the Commonwealth, or at least a regulation, this will now do a couple things. It will provide greater ease in getting that information on the city's website, and it has to be there, and it has to be there for a week. It's specified as to when that is, and then of course it'll save us some money from actually posting it in the newspaper. But it is an option. I told the city we would talk about that a little bit here, but since you brought it up, now is probably as good a time as any. to have that discussion, but that is available to us. I did talk with the mayor's office and IT, and I think that there is a willingness. If we want to go that route, they're fine with it. So unless somebody has some real objections to that, that's probably a good way to go. I see Councilor Dela Cruz's hand up.
I want to say something about the November 4 meeting. We did last time, September 20-something, we did the meeting 2 days after election. I think I'm going to be too tired on November 4. I'm talking about myself. I think we should suspend that meeting for the following Tuesday, because humanly, talking about working so hard on the 2nd and then going to the council on the 4th, I wasn't that productive when that happened. Then I would like to ask you to please change the November 4 for the following Tuesday.
Unless there's overwhelming support by the council to make that change, unless I hear there's a motion or some sort of thing. I'm just going by what is traditional, what we have typically done in the past. I do understand and am empathetic to what the councilor was suggesting. There is a lot of work that goes in, not only for the candidates, but also for the staff, and we understand that. But we also have to balance that with the people's business with respect to timing. I mean, there's things that we always face that there's an item tonight that if we didn't vote on it this evening, it probably would not have been able to get done in time. So we're always running up against the clock on items, and this is I think why we've done it traditionally. So it allows a little bit of a break for the clerk staff, for the city council and others, but it also allows the residents and to have their opportunity to have their government work on that same week. So unless I hear something profoundly that people really want to move it to a different day, I'm probably going to stick, understanding of course, and sympathetic and empathetic to the points with the Thursday meeting.
We can always avoid the 30 days wait that people will have. This is not something that we cannot do, but if we have an emergency, of course, that we have to address any time, any day, to accomplish the matter. But so far, thanks God, we don't have any emergency.
So Councilor,
I make a motion to approve from November 4 to November 9.
So there's a motion to, and this is not bad, this will generate all of us to be on the record. There's a motion to not have it on Thursday, but actually have it the following Tuesday, which is the November 9th, and I presume having the next city council the following week on the 16th, so back-to-back weeks. Is there a second to the motion to move it? There's a motion, it's been seconded. Any further discussion on whether or not we should have it on the following Thursday or a full week afterwards? If not, I think we understand the dynamics here. Clerk, just so we're all on the same page, would you please call the roll?
So, Mr. President, the motion is to hold the next meeting on November 9th.
The motion is to November 9th. If you vote yes, we are going to have a meeting on November the 9th. If you vote no, we are going to have the meeting on November 4th.
And the motion was made by?
It was made by Councilor Dela Cruz, and I believe it was seconded by Councilor Rodriguez.
Thank you. Vice President Reyes is absent. Councilor Rodriguez? Yes. Councilor De La Cruz? Councilor De La Cruz?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilor Payano? Councilor Payano?
No.
Councilor Abdu?
No.
Councilor Selena Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
No.
President LaPlante?
No. Motion fails for lack of a fifth. Our meeting will be on Thursday, 4/4. And we will understand that, Councilor. Thank you very much for this discussion. So I was going to, I think we were at committee, committee stuff? Yes. So, Mr. Abdu, you've got two committees, Budget and Finance and Personnel.
Thank you, Mr. President. There are no personnel items, and Budget and Finance would meet on Wednesday, October 27th at 7 p.m.
Very good. Councilor Rodriguez, Housing Committee.
To say Councilor Rodriguez?
Councilor Rodriguez, Housing Committee.
We have no business at this point.
Thank you. Councilor Payano, Public Safety.
Councilors, how does November 8th look like? Just want to put that on the schedule ahead of time.
November 8th is Monday, no?
Yep.
Okay.
Thursday we can't, that's Veterans Day. All right, so, Councilor Plant, November 8th, Public Safety.
Public Safety, November 8th, thank you. Ordinance Committee, I talked to the chair earlier today, and she's going to discuss with the members of of that committee individually and set up a day. So that's TBD, to be determined, so we'll get the date on that when the chair talks to the committee members. I know that Clerk LeBlanc has a comment or two with respect to the upcoming election. Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to remind everybody that early voting is next week here at City Hall on the first floor in the City Council chambers. That is Monday, October 25th, 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Tuesday, October 26th, 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Wednesday, October 27th, 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Thursday, October 28th, 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. And Friday, October 29th, from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Also to remind everybody that the general election, for those who don't vote early, is on Tuesday, November 2nd. You can vote from 7 a.m. in the morning until 8 p.m. at night. And as long as you are in line by 8 p.m., you will be allowed to vote. I also want to make a public announcement that we did have a typo on one of our ballots. I learned this today at about 10 minutes of 2. It is the District F is where there was the issue, and it only was the ballots for early voting and absentee voting. So the regular ballots used on Election Day were all fine. The voting, the mistake was on the ballot, at the top of the ballot, where it says the date. In Spanish, it is correct, November 2nd, but the typo is in English. It says November 21st. I communicated with the Secretary of State's office regarding the situation and what the resolution is. We will post notice on our website. I've crafted 3 letters already related to this, one to be posted on the website, one to go out to voters who have already been sent an early voting ballot or an absentee ballot in District F, and another to go along with any early voting or absentee ballots that are sent out going forward. It very clearly states what the mistake was and that the election is on November 2nd. So I say this so that the public is aware. Also, that you all know in case you get questions about it. Again, we learned of this because one voter called and said, is this a problem? And the ballots are valid, and we have a plan for addressing it. So that's it. We hope that everybody gets out and votes.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. And one last bit of, I think, some good news for the council. This council has asked for a color copier to provide information to us. We were successful in getting that. You'll notice that in your packets as electronically and papers through the good work of our clerk's office. We are now getting color copies. That was a request that was made by many of you, and we were able to get that forward. So some progress. You will also notice that you are starting to see brand new microphones. And by the time you sit here next, this entire area will have brand new, including the sound system, brand new microphones. I think we made some progress this evening with the microphones. So I think there's some good news there. So progress is being made. I do appreciate your patience. And if you have any other recommendations on ways that you think that I can assist the council, please don't hesitate to call me with your recommendations. We can push things through and we can make things happen. So I want to thank you all. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion made by Councilor Levy, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Levy.
Yes.
Council Gonzalez.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes. Council Abdu.
Yes.
Council Payano.
Yes.
Council De La Cruz.
Yes.
Council Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes is absent. President LaPlante.
Yes, good night, everybody.